अच्छा बरं कुठं तोच का हां बरं बरं चांगलं बेटर होऊन जाईल काही अडचणच नाही ओके त्यांना दिले बहिणीचा हिस्सा ओके अच्छा 4 बहिणींचे ना बरोबर मग आता कोणी दोघांनी घेतली ओके भुशीवाल्यांनी तुम्ही घेतली बेटर झालं काय अडचण हां ओके काय अडचणच नाही अच्छा काय टेन्शन बेटर झालं ते बेटर झालं ओके हा ते आहे बरोबर कशाला फोन केला आलं चांगलं आहे बेटर चांगलं आहे मग बघू काय
Dear participants, will wait for 5 minutes more so that the resource person of this session will join the meeting. We'll wait for 5 minutes more.
जॉइन करे है ना? हाँ यस ओके.
नाही सर. चौरे सर, stop sharing your screen. Your screen is, you have started presenting your screen.
सविता मॅडम.
Jatishwar Singh is there. Madam, you can continue.
ज्योती मॅडम सुरू करा.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. My
तिथलं माईक बंद करायला हवा. सविता मॅडमचं माईक बंद
just a minute, sir.
अनम्यूट करा मॅडम, अनम्यूट करा. अनम्यूट करा. ज्योती मॅडम अनम्यूट करा. हा बोला. कोणाचं तरी माईक सुरू आहे अजून. कोणाचं तरी माईक सुरू.
Just a minute, sir.
सविता मॅडम तुमचं माईक बंद करा. KTHM कॉलेज म्हणून कोण आहे त्यांचं बंद करा. तुमचं डबल लॉग इन झालंय ते बघा. तुमच्याच लॅपटॉप मध्ये डबल लॉग इन दिसते त्यामुळे आवाज येतो तो.
नाही ते डबल लॉग इन झालेलं ते एक मिनिट. Welcome, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. Myself, Dr. Jyoti Ganguly. Today, we are going to conduct the zoological lecture series entitled Zoological Research, Current Perspectives, Opportunities, and Future Scope. The eminent speaker of this session is Dr. Jatishwar Singh, who is working as a postdoctoral fellow in the Institute of Entomology, Czech Republic. He has published 14 international, 18 national articles. Sir has given 10 oral presentations in international conferences. Sir also has a good citation in Google Scholar. Now, sir have again current research interest in the fields of biodiversity, ecology, biogeography, taxonomy of Himalayan moths as well as butterflies, a biodiversity pattern along the environmental gradients, then again phylogenetics and phylogeography of Oriental butterflies. Now I request Jatishwar Singh sir to continue the session.
Can I start?
Yes, yes. You can start now.
Hello?
You can start now.
Everybody able to hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yes, sir.
Continue. Continue.
Okay, it is morning here for
Good
me,
morning. Good
but
morning.
good evening, everybody. Afternoon, everybody. Here today, I'm going to talk about. Uh,
You can just present now your presentation.
okay, okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, I was about to asked to talk about the zoological research, but I'm an entomologist and conservationist, so I'm talking on the entomology. Their current research, perspectives, opportunities, and future scopes in entomology, actually. Uh, Hope everybody knows. Just 1 minute, sir. Everybody might be thinking that dinosaurs came first, but the fact is that the cockroaches were there almost 120 million years before the dinosaurs came into existence. And the human comes very late in the 6 million years before. So, before the humans, the world was roaming with the cockroaches, dinosaurs, and 370 million years means older than them, the insects were already there, and we have seen the fossil records. We have already found the fossil records according to this. Some, according to the researchers from Slovakia Academy of Sciences in Slovakia, ancient cockroaches ate the feces of dinosaurs. Unfortunately, all the dinosaurs still had pieces of wood, and in that the cockroaches could not digest, and they were all killed. So the modern day cockroaches and the older cockroaches may not be related, but there was presence of cockroaches. Hello, Ramna.
Ah,
Hello.
ah yes,
Can
yes.
you please? No, I'm little feeling a little bit weird. So can you please put on one or two microphones
Ah, no problem. No problem. You can continue.
so that I can feel that I'm talking to someone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No problem. You can continue.
So first of all, we should know that what is entomology. Everybody knows because most of the students or the people present here, maybe academics or the students, everybody knows entomology. So just to remind it, what is entomology actually? Entomology is this the science of insects. It is an organized study to obtain knowledge of all the facets of insect life and to understand insects' role in our natural environment. And who are entomologists? Entomologists are people like us who specialize in entomology. They have the background and skills in biology and particular interest in and knowledge of zoology in broad. There are entomologists in everywhere, in the pest control, in the field of agriculture, in the field of research and academia, in the health system, health control system, even in the military nowadays. If we think, so first we should understand what is where the insects stand in the classification. If we think insects are in the order of things, insects are in kingdom Animalia, phylum Arthropoda, and finally Arthropoda means we already know that these are the insects, invertebrate. They don't have the backbone or the spinal cords like reptiles. Arthropods, this group, Arthropoda group includes where the arachnida, crustaceans, myriapods, and the insects. And I think most of us used to think that spiders or crustaceans means crabs, scorpions, myriapods like centipedes and millipedes may be insects, but they are not insects. They are in the phylum Arthropoda, but they have the similar structure with the insects, but they are not insects. So insect stands in different class. First thing is how abundant and how much diversity is there in the insects. The insect world is riddled with amazing statistics, and some of the most eye-opening is the abundance. The estimated ratio, the estimated ratio of insects to human is 200 million to 1. Means each 200 million insects is associated with one human being. Good thing is they are very small. If they are very large, there will be competition with the humans for the space. In USA, it is home to 400 pounds of insect biomass per acre compared to 14 pounds of flesh and bone. Means insects are more numerous than the animals and the others. Even in the Brazilian Amazon, some studies found out that ants, only the ants alone outweigh the total biomass of all vertebrates by 4:1. Means all the vertebrates present in the Amazon forest is very less comparison to the amount of insects present in the Amazon forest itself. So, why there is so many insects and why they are so successful in their life? So you can see this table actually, how many plant species are there and how many bus arthropod species are there, and out of that, how many species of insects are there. So comparison to this table, you can see you can see almost 1.2 million species are insects, arthropods. Comparison to plants, there are hardly 310 species of plants. Animals, hardly 6,500 species described so far. There are bacteria and viruses we think that they are very numerous, but hardly 2,000 species are identified so far. But insects, all the arthropods means including spiders, crabs, and the myriapods, there are almost 1.2 million species in the arthropods, but only insects, out of 1.2 million species, 1 million species is insects. You can see the reference also for what I am talking about. So, how many species of insects are described so far? There was a publication there is a book called Animal Diversity, An outline of higher level classification and survey of taxonomies by Zhang in published in 2011. According to that, there are almost 1 million insects, approximately 1 million insects, but after synonymizing means world is so wide, so some species may be described two or twice or thrice times. So after synonymizing all the similar species, hardly 80,000, no, 800,000 species is estimated total, means almost 82% of the total described. And still continuing, means I'm talking here is about the Appendages and diversity. There are lots of insects. Whatever we know today, it is very less. There are maybe 5 to 7 times as many as insects are yet to be discovered. There are many recent discoveries of new species. If you if you are interested in finding out some insects and if you want to name in you yourself, you can do it because there are lots of new species which are named after so many famous people in the world. Very recently, in 2017, one new mode was described, and it was named after the U.S. President Donald Trump. There is the Neopalpa Donald Trumpy. Then, I hope everybody knows the Swedish activist Greta Thunberg. She is a climate activist. Even in her name, there is one small, tiny beetle named after her. That is Neloptots gratia. Then even the famous naturalist, I hope everybody knows this guy. Can anybody answer me? Who is this guy?
David Attenborough.
Yes, he died recently, and he is the one of the greatest naturalists, environmentalists, conservationists. He's like a Linnaeus of the modern world, and there are almost 15 animals in his name. And one of these, this flightless weevil, which was recently in 2014 described from Vietnam. So, thing is, whatever we know today about insects is very, 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 very little. There are still 5 to 7 times more insects which are need to be known by us. Recently, during this speak, recently my PhD was based on the moths of Manipur. Everybody knows Manipur is the small state in the northeastern India. From this small area, I have described 9 new moths from the year 2012. No, not 12. Which one is the first description? 2019, 2020, and the beginning of this 2021. Within these 3 years, out of the collected material from 2009 to 2015, I have described 9 new species of moths. Means there are lots of moths, even in the small part of the country, our country, there are lots of unknown species. So you think about the whole over the world, how many species maybe remain undescribed. Okay? So everybody should become a good entomologist and let's help to describe more new species of insects. Question is why the insects are so successful and why they are so numerous. First one is their body architecture. Okay, first one is their body architecture which emphasize a light and strong exoskeleton forming a shell to protect its inner tissues and the attachment of the muscles. The exoskeleton has a cuticle over of it to prevent water loss from the evaporation. Water loss is very, very important. Conservation of water is very, very important in the insects. So, for the survival of these insects, they have this cuticle. Then the second most important architecture is the presence of the jointed appendages. Appendages, when we say appendages, it's not only the legs, the mouth parts, wings, then abdomens, their derivatives, reproductive parts, everybody is known as the appendages in the insect. So these appendages are modified variously according to the habitat type, according to the needs, according to the type of reproduction they have, according to what type of food they eat. So insects has the ability to evolve their appendages in different ways. So that's why they are very, very successful. Size. Their size is also one of the important factors in their successful survival in this environment, in this nature. Their insects are very small, smaller than 2 millimeter to 3 centimeter. Average size is 2 millimeter to 3 centimeter, but there are insects which is much smaller than 2 millimeter. There are insects which are much more larger than 3 centimeters. Some of the examples are here. One of these beetle is called Goliath beetle, which is found in Africa, which is about 4 inch long. You can see the whole palm is filled with this single insect, single beetle. Second one is the largest, one of the largest butterfly which we have known is almost 9.8 inches to 11 inches in the female, in the wingspan, and this is found in the Papua New Guinea and is highly endangered species of butterfly. Then 21 inches long walking stick. 21 inches means you can see it is almost about length of our hand. You cannot fill with the ruler also, fit with the ruler also to measure the length of this walking stick insect. So insect size varies according to their need and survival, and they have very small to very large size insects. And what is the second? Why they are small? The small size of the insects facilitates dispersal, allow them to escape from predators and enables them to use food present only in small amount because of the small body size. They need very little food. Differing from all the other arthropods and invertebrates, most insects can fly. Most of the arthropods, like forget about the spider and the ticks and the mites, myriapods, centipedes and millipedes cannot fly. Crabs cannot fly. Jinga, we know jinga, which is found in the ocean. What we call prawns, they cannot fly. Scorpions cannot fly. But most of the insects, almost 99% of the insects, can fly. And why flight is very important? The ability of flight is one of the most important reasons for success of this class, because they can escape very easily from the predators, and they can disperse when there is unsuitable conditions in their habitat. They can disperse very easily from one habitat to another habitat. Next one is their reproductive capacity. Okay, reproductive capacity. How many humans used to give birth to one or two child? Very rarely quadruplets are there, but humans used to produce only one child in a time. It takes 9 months to grow up in the womb, and it takes a very long life cycle. It takes a very long life cycle. But insects, insects can lay thousands of eggs in one time. You can see in the video the Bombax mori is laying the eggs in 1 hour. In one go, they can lay 500 to 1,000 eggs. And out of this, if all this 1,000 survives from one mother, if all this survives, then so their reproductive capacity is one of the most important factors why they are so successful. They have a very short generation time, which helps in the producing great amount of genetic variability, which which can help in the adaptation to various climatic conditions, habitats, and needs. Then camouflaging ability. There are lots of insects which use to camouflage themselves from their predators, and they can easily hide from the predators, and they survive. So these are the some points which are very important, which makes the insects so successful. So what is the relationship between the people and the insects? There are some historical point of view why we are so much associated with the insects, and what they play, what importance they play in our life. So when the human existence started, insects were already there in every conceivable land, means in every habitat. Insects were already present in the beginning. What I said, human beings just arrived 6 million years before, but insects were present from the 370 million years ago. So before the human, insects were already there. They were occupying all the habitable lands. Even if you go to the Arctic, there may be some insects. If you go to the ocean, there may be some insects. If you go everywhere on the land, terrestrial land, everywhere insects. And we are the invaders. So they feed, especially they feed on plants, all sorts of animals. Means they feed on the plants also. There are insects which feed on the animals and all form of non-living organic debris. Therefore, it is easy to imagine that they were already feeding as parasites or on our earlier ancestors. Means they were present as a parasite or they were present as a predator since before the
फक्त नंतर
humans
फॉर्म
were
काढून घ्यायचे
present.
आणि फक्त त्याचं अटेस्टेशन करायचं.
So some scientists, there are some articles which believes that humans association with the bed bugs. You know bed bugs? Bed bugs we experience in the hostels. So scientists believe that humans association with the bed bugs arises from the humans sharing caves with the bats during the ice ages. During the ice age, humans and the bats were living together, and the bed bugs were already parasiting on the body of the bats, and after that, they come to contact with the humans. So humans were also subjected to the disease caused by the many microorganisms. And who brought these microorganisms to the human beings? There are so many microorganisms which causing, you can see in the screen itself, there are lots of microorganisms which cause different kinds of diseases in the human being, but these are brought to the humans in contact by the arthropods. I am talking about the general arthropods now, not only insects. Here we have the flea. One of the very most common example is the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes transmit the plasmodium, which is causing the malaria to the human being, and it is affecting not from today, from the very very early population, and they are still do today. As early humans invented new habitat, they were exposed to greater contact with insects species previously not encountered. Just like the example was, humans began to venture into the inhabited regions of Africa in search of game means hunting, and they encountered the sissy fly. And sissy fly was never came in contact earlier, but when they came in contact with the human beings, they started transmitting the trypanosoma, which is present in the antelopes, and they caused the African sleeping sickness. So insects deliberately or not deliberately used to transfer these harmful microbes or the disease causing germs to the human being. So in the early times, whatever the insects come across with the insects, either some are very good or some are very bad. So what is the relation between the insects and us? So as the agriculture developed, humans like we remodel the landscape significantly by encouraging some animals and plants to multiply and other to be displaced. I hope you understand this sentence. When we started agriculture, when we started agriculture, we started planting the crops which is beneficial to us. And what we did, the plants which are not beneficial to us, we cut them, we disperse them, we burn them. So the insects which were associated with that plants were automatically killed by us. Or they have the ability to disperse. So when we destroy their plants, they disperse in other places. And what they did, they started coming back to our crops. So because of this development in agriculture practices, remodeling the landscapes, later what happens in there are many problems started in the local areas with reducing biological diversity and, as might be expected, a greater confrontation of humans with the insects. Means we have destroyed so many habitats for our benefit. Because of that, later we started confrontation by the insects with us. Not only were the humans to be contained with insects feeding on their bodies and transmitting disease, they also had to concern themselves with insects competing for a desired resources. Insects started also competing for the resources. That is our crops. Means our crops are food for them also. Subsequently, what happens when agriculture developed? The greater areas of the land were used for farming. Pressure from the insect population increased proportionately, making pest control a major preoccupation. Problem with the parasitic insects also became more prevalent with urbanization, the congregation of the people to form the cities. This created greater opportunities for the insects to be transferred from one person to the next, as like lice and the fleas, and from one household to the next, as like cockroaches and the bedbugs. So all the insects, they did not deliberately come to us. They were forced to compete with us by us because of our need, like agriculture, urbanization. Because of that, we displaced them from their local habitat, and later they came back to compete with us. Okay, as I said, when the humans were encountering the insects, there were some good insects and the bad insects. So let's talk about some beneficial insects. Uh, Useful products like silk, honey, and wax. These are the major products which we are using nowadays every day. Silk are produced by the different kinds of silk moths. One of the most commercially used silk moth is the Bombex mori, and the silk started producing in China that backs to 2500 BC. Means from the very olden days, Chinese were using this Bombex mori to produce the silk. And where the silk is used in many ways, not only in our clothing. There are so many electrical devices. There are different types of resources where silk are used. And one of silk fiber is one of the best fiber human being have known. Honey and wax. Honey and wax have different kinds of use, and most of the bees produce honey, but commercially important, some of the commercially important bees are Apis mellifera, Serrana indica, or Apis dorsata, which used to produce large amount of honey, especially in India. If you go to the Himalaya, Apis dorsata is the major source of honey. Even in the forest of Maharashtra, Apis dorsata is dominant. And Apis mellifera is the domesticated one, and Serrana indica is also the domesticated one. but Apis dorsata is not domesticated, and they used to produce. We depend on honey on them, and there are some honey which is produced by the different other bees, which are stingless like the genus Melipona and Trigona. Their honey are they produce in very less quantity, but these honeys have so many uh, medicinal properties, like they are antimicrobial, antioxidants, anti-inflammatory, anti-cancer, anti-hyperlipidemic, and cardioprotective properties. Some are used for the treatment of the eyes, some are used for the gastrointestinal tract disease, neurological disorders, etc. etc. So many. There are honey is very one of the most important useful product of the insects, which is using not from today, very olden days. Even in our Vedas, it is mentioned use of the honeys as a medicine. Second most important role of the insects in our nature is the pollination. Over 75% of all the flowering plants and 75% of our crops rely on them to carry the pollen from one flower to another. Human artificial pollination cannot be done in the vast fields. It's not possible for us to do the pollination, but insects, among all the pollinators, insects are the most successful pollinator. And out of them, among them, one of the most successful pollinators is the honeybees. Bees, not only honeybees, bees means bees, different type of bees. Then apart from that, butterflies, moths, beetles, different types of the flies, they also perform pollination. Biological control or pest control or weed control means which biological control means already the use of the predators and parasitoids to reduce the population of the pests. And who are the pests? Pests are the pests maybe pests and pests maybe pests we consider is the unuseful insects which cause harm to our crops. They are called as the pests. And the example is one of the best biocontrol for the biocontrol, one of the best insect which we use in biocontrol is the ladybug beetle. There are different types of ladybug beetles. They feed on the aphids, and aphids are the major crop pests, and these aphids are fed by the ladybug. So when the field or our crops are infected with the aphids, we can release this ladybug there. They will finish all these aphids within no time without harming our plants. Then there are major problem of weeds like Parthenium. I hope Maharashtra has the problem of Parthenium. And this Parthenium is fed by a beetle called as Zygogramma bicolorata. And the Zygogramma bicolorata is not a native beetle. It is a beetle which is found in America, and they came, they were brought in India and introduced. But the Zygogramma is found to be the best biocontrol agent for controlling the Parthenium wheat. So insects, different kinds of insects can be used as a beneficial insect to control our crops. And nowadays, food insects are serving as food for the humans. And nowadays it is becoming very popular. Even in the Europe nowadays, there are breads which is found, which is mixed with the powdered insects, and they are selling in the market. And some places like in Africa and some Southeast Asian countries, most insects are eaten as a food. You can see in the corner of plates there are locusts, grasshopper, worms, silkworm worms. They are used as a food. So means they are very good source of protein actually. In the future, who knows? We all may be eating the insects. Medicine use. Insects. There are many insects which are used in the medical issues. They are called as the entomotherapy. Means either we can use the insects directly, or the chemical extracted from them can be used as a medicine. And this type of therapy is called as the entomotherapy. And apitherapy, using the bee venom we can treat different types of the symptoms like rheumatoid arthritis, gout, osteoarthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, post-hepatic neuralgia, painful or keloid scars, multiple sclerosis, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndromes. There are different kinds of therapy which we use the bee venom as a medicine for the treatment of these different kinds of diseases. Then maggots. There are maggots, means the larvae, which is used for removing the dead and the rotten tissues from our body. That is called the maggot therapy. And if you want to know, then you can read this paper, 2009 paper published in the Journal of Diabetic and Science Technology. So maggot therapy is not started today. It's we're using from the very, very old days to remove the dead and rotten tissues from our body. Then the scissor ends. Scissor ends means ends are used as a thread to sew our body after the operation. And this is used even in our Atharva Veda. It is found before 1000 BC, and especially in the Atharva Veda, it means our Rishi Munis, they were using these ends, these particular ends, to do surgeries especially in the intestinal wounds. If you want to know more about this use of the ants in the surgery, you can read this paper. ants as suitors. It was published by the Dr. MD Justin Hensley, and here he have given all the uses of the ants. What kind of the ants are used to fix the tissues, to stitch the tissues, so you can go through this. One is the megatherapy, another is the ants in the surgery. So insects are harmful also, and insects are beneficial also. And last part in this medicinal use is this one. It was published in 2017 in the Acta Pharmaceutica Sinica B by Seabrooks and Who. Here we are using different kinds of chemicals which are found in the different types of the insects in the pharmaceutical industry. Means nowadays insects are also becoming a very, very important part of the pharmaceutical industry. See which kind of the insects produce what type of chemicals. Sawfly, the chemicals, they have two different types of molecules and they have the antimicrobial properties. Red ants, they have 3 to 7 compounds. They are antimicrobial. Fire ants, they are anti-angiogenic. Then iron ant, anti-proliferative compounds are present. Black ants, anti-inflammatory, anti-proliferatory, and non-renoprotective compounds are present in the black ants. Wasps, neuroactive compounds are present. Stink beetle, anti-inflammatory. Dung beetle, anti-inflammatory. Seed beetle, antioxidant. Blister beetle, immunomodulatory compounds. So there are many insects, different kinds of the insects, which used to have different kinds of the chemical properties, which are very, very useful in our pharmaceutical industry these days. So how they are used? We collect the insects, their body is dried or their products are used, and from their body we extract the chemicals. And these chemicals are used for the treatment of different kinds of the diseases. So these are the some benefits of the insects. Next is as a decomposer, as a scavenger, they recycle the organic matters. So these insects are called saprophagus, and they eat the rotten woods, human feces, animal feces, means any kind of the plant tissue or the animal tissue which is organic in nature. Different kinds of the insects feed on them and they convert this material into useful way. So insects feed on the dead or dying plant tissues. Insects feed on dead animals, carrions like beetles, flies, wasps, and ants. Insects that feed on the poof of the other animals or coprophagous, feces eaters, and include mostly the fly and the dung beetles. Then the tunnelers, they construct tunnels in which they roll balls of poop, dwellers, rollers. So means insects are very useful as a scavenger or decomposer to recycle our waste materials. And They keep the environment healthy. So these are some beneficial insects. Harmful insects, they cause plant injury and disease. They destroy the wood and the wood products. They destroy our vegetables and store grains. They cause annoyance and injury to the humans and the domestic animals. Okay, although insects are usually thought of as harmful to humans, probably fewer than 1% of all the insect species fall into pest category. Means very less insects are pests, but majority of them are very useful. So injury to the crop plants, forest and ornamental plants are one of the most conspicuous ways of insect cause economic loss to us. Approximately one half of all the known insects are plant feeders. Our greatest number of insects problem involve plants. Insects injure plants by feeding on them and laying egg in their plant tissue. So insect process, what they do, they feed some insects such as aphids and the leafhoppers also transmit 100 kinds of plant pathogens, including the bacteria, fungi, viruses, and the mycoplasm, and they cause loss, subsequently cause losses from disease, and they act as a vector for the plant diseases. So there are caterpillars which are feeding on our, you must have seen in our agriculture fields, there are aphids feeding on the bean plants, and there are moths, which is moths and their grubs feeding on our eggplants. There are beetles which used to destroy our wood, carpet moth, which carpet moth and cloth moth which feed on our carpets or in our clothes. Where we will be beetle, they destroy our wheat or maize which we used to store for a long time. They are very tiny and they reach everywhere and they used to destroy our crops and vegetables. So, but these are very less percentage of the insects. Majority of the insects are useful. They cause annoyance and injury to the humans and the domestic animals like houseflies, sandflies, horsefly, botflies. They used to cause mosquitoes. They used to cause annoyance to our body and to the humans as well as to the domesticated animals, and they cause different kinds of the disease to us and to our domesticated animals. Such kind of the insects are the harmful one. So what do you think about insects? Anybody? Are they good or bad? Everybody is sleeping or what? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes,
audible.
sir, you are audible, sir.
No, I am
Yes, sir.
asking, what do you think about insects? Are they good or bad?
They are good, sir.
Good. So we were talking so many things about the insects. They are causing disease. They are destroying our crops. So you are think that they are good.
So I think the insect are both two types. Good are also are bad also.
So as an individual, what do you think about the insects? You should fear the insects or you should love the insects.
From the part of beneficiary, insect should be best for us. For that, we have to
In front of you, in front
know
of
that.
you, no, in front of
Yes.
you, if I bring and put a cockroach in your hand, what you will do?
Some people are
You see,
enjoying, some people are afraid, some people are they doing some extraordinary action on that.
that's what I'm asking. If I bring a cockroach and keep on your hand, what would be your reaction?
There's some people
You will
will
find
be,
Andres, Andres sir,
huh? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
anybody can answer what I'm talking about. If I bring a
Hmm.
cockroach, and put your hand in your hand, what will be your reaction?
They may be apprehending, they may be phobia, they may be enjoying anything else is happen.
That's what I said. It depends on anybody, individuality. Some people may think, oh, this is a very small insect, we should not harm. Some people may think, oh, where is my chapel? It should be killed. Right. So that is our perception. My question is very simple. What do you think about the insects? If you see a butterfly feeding, hovering on a flower, you'll say, oh, this is very good, beautiful butterfly, so colorful. I love this butterfly. You pet them. When you see a cockroach, where is my supper or where is my so you started looking for something to kill them, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
yes,
Yeah, this is
yes.
what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. What is your perception towards the insects? Some insects we love them. Some insects we look. If you saw one mosquito come on sit on our body, you will not think that she is simply trying to feed herself. Oh, this is causing annoyance to me, so I will kill her. If a housefly comes, you will chase away. So it is in our perception. See here and here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So some people used to fear the insects. That is called Antomophobia, and there's nothing. We should not fear the insects. Insects do not cause harm to us. Must we are causing harm to them more than what they did to us. Okay, so we have seen here there are some bugs or the insects which are very good. There are some insects which are very bad. And when we see them, when we see some which we think they are bad, we start trying to kill them, like mosquitoes, housefly, cockroaches, termites, so many insects. We don't want them in our space. But there are some insects like butterflies, beautiful beetles, which we pet them. See here, in India we have how many butterfly parks? Three, six, seven, eight, and more butterfly parks where we are making special habitat for the butterflies. Why only the butterflies? Why we are not creating the parks for the cockroaches? Why we are not creating the parks for these bugs? So means all the insects. I mean is all the insects are both beneficial as well as the harmful. But it doesn't mean that we should kill all the insects which are harmful. They also plays a very important role in our ecosystem and our survival. If the insects are not there, then there will be no plants, And if there is no plants, there will be no humans. So everything started from the insects. Ramnath sir,
हाँ यस सर बोला. Yeah.
yeah. If the honeybees are not there,
They may be the as per Einstein, the 4 years human being may be vanish.
if the honeybees are not there, then pollination will be reduced by 75%.
Yeah.
And if the 75% of pollination is reduced, then there will be reduction in the crop production.
Yeah.
And there will be shortage of the food.
The big issue of food security.
Yeah. Food security comes everything. So we should be making peace with the bugs and the human being nowadays. Okay? So this is about some understanding about the insects. I hope I didn't bore everybody.
No, you can continue.
So what is the current perspectives of entomology? Means what in the entomology what we can do. Entomology today is a super science, not a classical science which used to do only morphological studies and taxonomical approach and describe some new species. That was done in the first half of the century. But nowadays, entomology is a multi or
Zoology
interdisciplinary
chart.
approach. Entomology is used in every field. Entomology is used everywhere, in every research. So if you want to study the climate change, if you want to study habitat loss, if you want to study quality of the water resources, everywhere insects is important. So there are some interdisciplinary approaches like biological diversity studies, chemical ecology studies, circadian rhythm, neo-endocrinology, medical entomology, forensic entomology, molecular biology, and biotechnology. Everywhere, the entomology is important nowadays. So when you go further studies, you can choose many different kinds of the branch of the entomology which is useful in our day-to-day life. So nowadays, entomology, what is the use of molecular biology in the entomology? What is the use? So study of the genetics of the insects, biochemistry of the insects, molecular studies of the insects like nowadays DNA barcoding and all. Molecular biology is also becoming a very important part of the entomology, especially for the species identification, to understand the relationship between the plants and the insects, relation between the parasite and parasitoids, relation between the parasites and the predator, the parasites and the host. Molecular approach are are becoming very important part of the entomology. So those who are doing biotechnology, they can go in the entomology. Those who are studying entomology, they can go to the molecular biology. Then physiological vital proteins and essential neural complex, which are involved in the pheromonal studies, are also important for molecular biologists as well as for the entomologists. So in this part, you can look through the internet. There are different kinds of the applications of entomology in all the branch of the science. Okay, so here, as requested by the Andle sir, I just put what is the basic step of entomological research? What we do, taking the insects as a tool. So here I'm taking the example of the Lepidoptera. There is the butterflies and the moths. To start any kind of the researches, any kind of the environmental research, insects are very important. Yes, so one of the things is the butterfly and the moth, which is the most studied organism in the world. They are used as an environmental indicators, ecological indicators, and the biodiversity indicators. So environmental indicators, what they do, they detect and monitor the environmental changes. Then they demo as an ecological indicator, what they do, they used to uh, demonstrate and impact the monitor the long-term impacts of the stressor induced changes in the environment. Then identify diversity of taxa in a specific area and monitor changes in the biodiversity. That is the biodiversity indicator. Means our habitat, our surrounding, our biodiversity, our habitat. It is a very good habitat for us or not. That can be decided by looking at the kinds of insects, kinds of the butterflies, kinds of the moths, which is inhabiting in our surrounding. So understanding the moths ecology, butterfly ecology can help you understand your environment. So first, when we use Lepidoptera as an entomological research, what we do, we decide what we want to study. That is our aim and objective. What we want to study. We want to study the climate change. Do we want to compare the habitats? Do we want to check the health of the habitats? Do we want to see the indicator species of this particular habitat? So we have to decide, especially in the ecological research I'm talking about. Okay, not in the higher level molecular research, not in the molecular research. I am an ecologist, I am a conservationist, so I will be thinking about how to conserve this locality, how to conserve this forest, how to conserve this area. So I may be thinking different types of approach. That is my aim and objective. But what is this? After this, what I have to do? There are basic things which we need. Very simple and basic. First is site selection, which area you want to study, with what objectives. Then the second part is the reconnaissance survey. Reconnaissance survey means survey of the area, what types of plants are there, environmental indicators, means what is the temperature, what is the humidity, what is the rainfall, what type of the forest, and what type of the insects are living in this habitat. And that part becomes the survey. So if you want to survey the Lepidoptera, which type of the method you should be using, that one I will tell you in the next slide. Then after this, all these surveys are done. What is the next step? It is the producing your result and what is your interpretation. And for the study of the moths, collection is the important thing. One of the most important in the biodiversity study, what is the most important step is the collection of the biological data. Means what types of the insects are living in this particular area and for which type of the insects are there. And according to that, we use different types of the methods to collect the insects. So for the moths, we use light trapping methods, and the light trapping methods can be done using various different kinds of light traps. So here I am showing you two kinds. Number one is the Robinson trap. These right and left photographs, you may be looking differently, but they are the same type of the trap, Robinson trap. And the middle one is the, you can just hang a sheet and bring the source of the light in front of them. And all the moths will be attracted to them. You have to collect it, everything, and analyze it. Analyze it means you have to identify, then your results will be, after identifying all these materials, you will be able to put up your result and interpret it. So for the identification, we used to spread them, and we used to bring them like this, cataloging with the number, collection date, and everything. And see the lower mode, it was recently described in 2019 by me from Manipur. It is a kind of moth called the ghost moth, Notodontidae, and it is new to the science. Okay, and the results. What kind of the results you found? So in the, if we see, I didn't make a slide because it was came up in the last minute. So in the result, we have different families of the moths. There are certain moths which are which lives in the very dense forest, very healthy forest. There are certain moths which lives in the disturbed forest and the disturbed areas. There are certain butterflies and moths which are found in our backyard garden. So, which type of the butterflies or the moths you collect, you will be able to predict. You will be able to predict or tell what kind of the environment you are living. You are living in a healthy habitat or not. That depends on the kinds of the indicator, the species of the moths which you collect from that particular locality. That kind of the moths are called, they are called as the bioindicators. Okay, in a disturbed forest, you will see the moths which are known as the rabbits and knotweeds. In the healthy forest, you will find more quantity of the geometrids and notodontids, lasiocampids, because they love feeding on the woods and trees. So, which kind of the family of the moths you collecting, it tells you the kind of the habitat you are living about. Okay, this is about the use of the Lepidoptera in the research, basic research, and for identification or for analyzing these relationships, you can go further in the molecular level by isolating DNA from of the. You can study the relationship between the plant, these insects and the plants by analyzing the DNA of the insects as well as the DNA of the plants. What is the relationship? What is the how the if they are feeding, then why they are feeding on this particular plant? Why they are not feeding in this particular plant? So that will be told by the analyzing the DNA. So that is in the molecular level. So a simple environmental research can also converted into a molecular level research.
नवीन प्रिंट आउट करू त्याच्या
So everybody might be worried that which type of these jobs,
आणि इथे ऍड्रेस टाकला का
which type of the jobs we will get after studying the entomology. Or so in India we have very limited openings. Either you can go to the scientific research
हा डाके
or
सर बोला
teaching field academics.
हो बोला
If you want to go to the scientific
बोला काय
research,
प्रॉब्लेम
you can go to the research institutes like Zoological Survey of India, WII, then the NCBS.
इंग्लिश मधनं
NCBS we have in Pune also,
दुसरी
Bangalore
गोष्ट
also,
तुम्हाला
Trivandrum
ऍप
also,
पाठवायचं नाही, ऍप
Mohali
पाठवायची गरज नाही,
also.
मी डायरेक्ट तुम्हाला लिंक पाठवले.
So in
तुम्हाला
this
काय
they
करायचंय
used to do
तुमचा
research
जीमेलचा
on
जीमेल ओपन करायचा
different
आहे
kinds of
आणि
research.
तिथं
Even you
फक्त
can
एकदा
go to
क्लिक करायचं आहे त्या
IARI,
लिंकवरती
Indian
ती
Institute
डायरेक्टली
of
ओपन होईल.
Agricultural Research, to study about the pest
एवढंच आहे बाकी
species.
काही नाही. उद्या दुपारी
So
भले
there are
वाटलं तर आपण
lots of
काय
research
करूया 6:01
institutes
ला मी एक डेमो लिंक
where you
तुम्हाला
can
पाठवेल.
go as a
त्या लिंक
scientist
वरती
after
तुम्हाला कसं
studying
जॉईनिंग करायचं
or
तुमचं
completing
पीपीटी
your
असेल तर ते प्रेझेंट कसं करायचं तर
degree.
थोडंसं आपण डेमो घेऊया.
Even nowadays,
पुढे कंटिन्यू
in most of the universities,
चालेल ना
research
चालेल मग
is
मी काय करतो
associated
तुम्हाला
with the
फायनल लिंक
academia
पण
also.
पाठवतो आणि डेमोची
So
लिंक
if you
डिटेल्स
go to
उद्या
the
पाठवतो तर
universities,
त्यावेळेस
mainly you may
जॉईन
be
करूया
going for the teaching, but
काय असेल ते
nowadays,
डिस्कस
as
करू
I said,
आणि मग 2
they are
नंतर
associated
तासापासून
with the
सेशन सुरू होईल.
research works also.
हो
Uh,
चालेल
we have a special service called as the scientists in IARI, ICAR, Institute Scientists. That is called Agricultural Research Service. Just like IAS, IPS, you can give this examination for, and you can go for the Agricultural Research Service. Then entomologies, you can go for the forensic entomology. Nowadays in India, it is also becoming very common forensic entomology in the law enforcement, means in the forensic science. So studying as a being in the entomology is what you can do in the investigating a crime. You can investigate a crime. So which type of insects in the crime scene helps you to determine the crime cause. Then you can determine what type of insects is found in the dead body. You can decide the time of the death, cause of the death. Okay. So these are some openings in private and government sectors. But the majority, if you go to look at the world perspective throughout the world, there are different kinds of career possibilities if you have an entomological degree. Like agricultural research, public health, forensic entomology, consultation firms in agriculture, environmental, public health, urban and food processing,
फोटो आहे
federal government agencies, conservation and environmental biology, pharmaceutical industries, natural resource management. There are certain insects which are associated with the natural resource, like different kinds of the minerals. Then the veterinary, medical, and graduate schools, you can go as a scientist, as a teacher, as a doctor. Then in agriculture, pest control. Then the seed or chemical research for research companies, apiculture. Then even you can do the outreach education, means you giving information about the insects to the community. You can do so many things if you have a degree in the entomology. Okay, thank you very much. Here I will end my talk. I hope I didn't bore you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now the session is open for questionnaires. I request you, participants, you may ask your questions in chat box. एक मिनट.
I think I didn't bore everybody.
No, sir, no, not at all. Sir, one question is there from Akash. The question is, sir, what is benefit of cockroaches as human point of view and some other?
Benefit is very less, but they harm more.
Yes.
They convert the organic materials into fertilizers. Okay, they feed on other insects which are more harmful than the cockroach.
Okay.
But they cause lots of harm to us also. They destroy our food, then they cause different kinds of the disease to us as well as to our domesticated animals.
Okay.
I cannot see the chat.
Sir, one more question. Did you got any rare moth during your study time?
There are so many rare moths. Okay, I will tell you one thing. In India, moth research has been started in the very early. Started in the 17th century by the invaders. It's a British colonizers. They were studying moths till India got independence. And they have described thousands of moths from India, thousands of butterflies from India, and after independence till 1970s, means 1947 we got independence, and after that till 1970s, nobody has done studies. And after that, almost a gap of almost 50-60 years, in the recent years, many scientists, many researchers, many entomologists have started studying, focusing on the inventories of butterflies and the moths. In the past 10-15 years, we have described more than thousands of moths alone in India. We have described almost more than 1,000 moths. But I did the description, finding a new species and describing takes a long process because we are lack of resources. Our entomological research are very outdated. Nowadays, we have so in India especially, we are not using the modern techniques like DNA barcoding and all. It is becoming a very recent issues which takes lots of money, and that's why it is very slow process. But it is improving. It is improving in the recent years. And in the past few years, you can see if you go, if anybody interested, If you go to the journal of journal, which is called as a Zootexa, you will find the new description every month from one of the institute from the India describing one or two species every month nowadays. So we are advancing, we are going forward in describing new species, especially in the Himalaya. There are lots of new species which is undescribed. As I said, even from a small locality of Manipur, I have described nine new species, and there are more other species which I need to describe, but it takes time. And this material, what I am describing right now, it was collected in 2010, so it takes time because of the lack of the resources and the references.
Sir, one more question. Sir, as you discuss with students, career opportunities or jobs in case of forest entomology. So, can you guide the students? Is there any exam, entrance exam, and how they approach to forensic entomology job or opportunities?
It's very difficult for me because I have not gone through that side. But if the students are really interested, they can continue research. But in India, it is very difficult to go into research. I don't have answer for this actually.
Sir, again, the students asking you, they want to collaborate with you or they want to do work with you. So they just
Yes,
asking you, can we collaborate with you and your laboratory for entomological research?
yes, I'm always open. Always open. We can do collaborative works. So you can anytime approach me for, especially for Lepidoptera, not for another insect groups because I am not specialized. I'm specialized in the moths and butterflies. I'll be happy to help and collaborate work with you guys because I am working with Dr. Sachin. I hope Sachin Gurula is there. I'm working with him in many articles.
Sir, one more question again. Does DNA barcoding becomes imperative in closely related mobs?
Yes. Nowadays, recently, there are many species which were separated through barcoding. Earlier, they were considered as the same species, but recently, after barcoding, they are separated as the individual species. Recently, one paper published one of the most common butterfly, Paris butterfly, which is found in the Himalaya. Previously, they were considered as the part of the Paris azaca, but now the species of Paris azaca, which is found in the higher altitude, are the pure Paris azaca, and the Paris azaca, which is found in lower altitude, they are described as the new species because of the DNA barcoding. And what makes the DNA barcoding so easy? Previously what we do, we used to compare the morphological characters, genitalia characters of all the moths which are already identified. But in India, what is the problem? We don't have all the type materials, which we call as the holotypes. Holotypes are all deposited in the National Museum in London. So we don't have the approach in the, we are not able to see the holotypes of the described material. But what is the benefit in the DNA barcoding? If we got the material DNA barcode, we will get the DNA barcode from the online of all the previous earlier described species. And when we compare and make a phylogenetic tree, if our material is new, it will become separately in the DNA barcode. And if it is not the separate, if it is not the new, then they will come with together in the previously described species. So DNA barcoding is a very easy way. It doesn't take much time. It is just 1 minute. After DNA barcoding, you will get this. Will make this phylogenetic tree. You see it. So the last one here, this is different from all the other earlier described species.
Okay.
So this is a new species, not our group. This is the new species.
Okay.
We have the different color, different diversity, the divergence time in the geological scale. So we will be describing using the classical method. Previously, what we do, we go for molecular, morphological characters, genetic characters, and it takes long time. For what we do now is we go through the separate the DNA, run the barcode first, make the phylogenetic tree. If it is new, analyze the morphology and the genitalia, and it becomes a new species. So which normally used to take 2 to 3 months, now we are taking hardly 1 month. Sachin sir, you are asking something.
Sachin sir,
Dr. Sachin is busy. I'm just answering few questions from the student.
I think almost questions are over here.
Most of the questions I see, I was just looking at, they were all talking about the collaborative research. That's why I said I am always open. Whoever wants to do work with me, you can work. You can write me, and in the future, if you are completing the masters, in the future, if you want to do research on the ecology of the moths or ecology of any kind of the insects, our institute has lots of scientists, lots of branches, lots of departments in regarding the ecology, in the diversity studies, species studies, food webs, plant insect interactions. There are so many branches. You can write me, and if there is any opening, I can ask you. I can send you the details for PhD purpose.
Dr. Jateshwar, I have a small question for you.
Yes.
This is not related to entomology, but this is general question for my student. Suppose anyone student they want to
come for or we go for the research in outside the country, there is any short way to tell us that once
What?
the most of students that are interested to working or do the research in outside the country foreign, they went to the foreign and do the research. Is it you can tell the some word for that?
Foreign research thing is students has a very good knowledge of the subject.
Okay.
If they don't have the M subject, if they don't know what he or she wants to do and what she or she wants to achieve, it is very difficult to get. Otherwise, it is very normal, very simple, and
But they have tried to how to try to get the some research platform from the outside the country. And what they do?
they don't do anything.
Okay.
You have to understand that where you want to work, where you want to work, what that particular scientist or researcher is doing. You have to understand the background of the researcher.
Very good.
Then you have to understand his or her topic and what you want, what you learn, what you want to achieve. If you have this clear idea, if you have the prior information of that particular lab where you want to go or where you want to apply, then that is the best thing.
Very good. Nice.
Without knowing blindly, I cannot approach anybody. Hey, what is your research? I want to do PhD under you. You cannot go like that. You have to do study of that particular lab or the group, what they are working, what is their publications, what they have done in the past, what they are planning to do in the future. At least you have to have that idea.
Oh.
And the next is your aim and objective, and what you want to do after going to that particular lab. What do you want to achieve? You have to have this.
Because our department is specifically have the MSc entomology, and afterwards the student want to do the research and specific lane, they should be what should they do for the career
See,
person?
actual research work should start from the master itself.
Yeah.
At least one minor research carrying up to 6 months, at least one semester should be compulsorily done, not like the earlier which we used to
Very
do. Sachin sir.
That's right.
Ramnath sir.
Yeah.
Not like what we did in the Ahmednagar college. That type of the research work is not acceptable here.
Therefore, I am asking the same question for you. There is the student are eager to go for the outside the country and they do the some research. They also have the some experience about in master. They do the some project work, and on the basis they have the some idea about that. Then afterwards they get the some way to do the research.
Best thing is whatever you are doing from the master, you should continue in that particular subject for your PhD.
Very
Here in my university, their research work started from graduation, from BSc. In the graduation, they used to do some minor projects associated with the PhD student or the postdocs. That same topic was carried forward to the master level and upgraded with the techniques, technology, and the level of the knowledge they upgrade. And till master, they have finished half of the PhD work.
Very good.
And when they come in the PhD, they start publications with good results.
Yes. Nowadays,
So
Indian
they were doing research from the past 5 to 6 years, and when they reach to the PhD, what they do, they start publications from the first year, second year itself.
Yeah. Nowadays.
And by the end of the PhD, they may be having 5 to 10 impact factor papers, not like our Indian researchers.
Yes.
5 to 10 impact factor papers, very rarely few people may have done.
After 20 decades, the Indian university get the 35 years afterwards, the Indian universities upgraded the whole scheme, educational scheme, and nowadays they're coming for the foreign basis. foreign
No,
research?
I am not underestimating the Indian researchers. We are doing, because I understand the problem of the Indian researchers.
Yeah.
We have lots of bureaucratic things which is hampering the research.
Very good. This is the big things.
Sachin sir, are you sick or what?
I'm perfectly okay.
Okay, thank you, sir, for such a wonderful talk. In his PPT, PowerPoint presentation, sir already discussed regarding the scope of entomology, difference between vertebrate, invertebrate, then insect abundance and its diversity, species richness, then number of species currently described or they are present, then factors makes insect successful, then history of entomology, benefits of insects including pollinators, biological control, food for humans and medicinal use. Now, again, sir discuss with us regarding the harmful insects, then perceptions of insect, or particularly again focused on the Lepidoptera as a tool in entomological research. So, sir, your talk is useful for our UG and PG as well as research students. Now, this knowledge will be useful for them in their doctoral research, for finding opportunities in entomology also, and which is also helpful for UG and PG research students in their dissertations. Now, thank you so much, sir, for your time and informative presentation. Okay, with kind permission from Principal Sir, our head of department, and the coordinator, I declare that the session is over here. Okay, thank you so much, sir. Once again,
Thank you.
thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sachin?
And the problem is the same. लोकांचं कोलॅबोरेशन जर मात्र करायचं मत नसतो.
ज्योती मॅडम संपलं का?
Yes, sir.
ठीक आहे, एंड करायची मीटिंग.
Yes, sir. End.